And the Dubs held off the Memphis Grizzlies 121-116, locking up the number 7 seed in the Western Conference playoffs and a first-round matchup against the number 2 seed Houston Rockets. The Grizzlies, who were briefly without star guard Ja Morant due to an apparent ankle injury, play the winner of Wednesday's Dallas Mavericks-Sacramento Kings contest Friday. Draymond, talk to me.
Yeah, he's different. He's different. You can just see a whole different intensity level and focus. And, I'm a basketball fan, so I've watched it on TV for years. To see it up close and personal, it's a real thing. Sometimes you get in the NBA and, these guys come get these nicknames and you're like, man, stop it. There's some other nicknames out there. They're not real. That one's real. And I'm happy he on our side.
Playoff Jimmy, it's a real thing, Stephen A.
A whole different intensity level and focus. And, I'm a basketball fan, so I've watched it on TV for years. To see it up close and personal, it's a real thing. Sometimes you get in the NBA and, these guys come get these nicknames and you're like, man, stop it. There's some other nicknames out there. They're not real. That one's real, and I'm happy he on our side.
Playoff Jimmy, it's a real thing, Stephen A. Did Golden State take it, or did Memphis lose it?
Listen, you don't want to take any credit away from the Golden State Warriors. Let me be very, very clear about that. Steph Curry was spectacular, especially late. Jimmy Butler was spectacular. Draymond Green had, I think, double digits in assists, and obviously he was doing what he does defensively. Give the Warriors all the credit in the world, but in the same breath, let's make sure we understand, partially anyway, what happened. Ja Morant did get hurt. And if Ja Morant, considering some of the plays that he was making, had remained healthy throughout, considering the fight that Memphis put forth, which is what we were talking about yesterday, the way they fought these guys, they started off strong, faded a little bit, started off strong again in the third quarter, faded a little bit, but kept coming back, wouldn't go away. You look at Desmond Bane and what he was doing. Jaren Jackson came alive a little bit late. You saw what Ja Morant and how he tried to play through the obvious pain from that ankle, that ankle injury. And then you got to think about the fact that Brandon Clark isn't there, who's a big, big cog for them. I would just look at it from that standpoint, not taking anything away from the Golden State Warriors, but you did find yourself saying, especially in the end, if Ja Morant had not gotten hurt, we might be saying something different this morning.
Well, listen, you don't obviously take any playoff win, and this is sort of a playoff game. You don't take it away. Home court wins these playing games. I'd have to go look at the record. Wendy probably has it. You need to be at home in these playing games. Obviously, Orlando last year, Miami at home a couple years ago, got all the way to the finals, but they got out of it playing with home games. Hard to win the road games in these playing. And Memphis did a good job. They were competitive. As you said, Steve, they were in trouble early, down 12 at the half. Trouble in the third quarter, got back in the game and had a chance to win with a minute to go. So from that standpoint, I give Memphis some credit. They will definitely beat Dallas and Sacramento. They're going to play Oklahoma City in that first round. They're not beating Oklahoma City. And that's a break for OKC. But I think the bigger picture to me is Golden State needed this win because they can beat Houston. And I wasn't with you guys these last 2 days, and I'm sure you brought it up. Matter of fact, I saw it because they had the headlines on it on Monday when I was working. And I do think the fact that Golden State's loss to the Clippers actually helped them on Sunday. I know they wanted to win the game, but I think it helped.
Fighting to play Oklahoma City in the first round.
With Houston next. That was a good break last night with a good win. Let me hear.
If you're a Grizzlies fan, you're saying, woe is me today because you're saying, not again. We have another situation where Ja gets hurt. And absolutely, Stephen A., look, he had 18 points. When he made the basket in the third quarter, that was his 18th point. It's a one-point game. He comes back, he scores 4 points the rest of the way. Very clearly, it affected him. But the reason that the Grizzlies are in this situation, which is now in a fighting to play Oklahoma City in the first round, is how they've melted down the stretch of this season. They have not beaten any of these Western Conference playoff teams since January 30th, I think was the last time they won a game. 2 months ago, February 16th or even February 20th or whatever, They were the 2 seed. When they fired Taylor Jenkins in mid-March, they were tied for the 4th seed. Yeah. They enter this as the 8th seed. And so now when you watch Desmond Bane, who played brilliantly in this game, have those 3-pointers rattle out, he had 2 of them late in the second half, rattle out, and you see Ja out there playing on the bum ankle, you do say, woe is us. But the Grizzlies reaped what they sowed here with the way they finished this season. This, to me, was a story about the Warriors' dream. The Warriors' dream is the pairing of playoff champions.
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to
He took more than 20 shots. And, oh, by the way, he got to the free throw line 27 times. Think about that for a second. As I repeatedly stated, this is what makes Jimmy Butler so special for Steph Curry and for Steve Kerr. Because you don't have to spell for Steph Curry nearly as much as you thought you would or you had to do in the past, because this brother gives you a break because he allows you to get a breather so often. And by the way, if you don't want to take him out, what you can do is call Jimmy Butler's number, get to the free throw line. Steph needs a break, but we don't want to call a timeout. Get to the free throw line. And this brother can do it with ease. This is part of what has made them so special right now and such a huge, huge threat in the Western Conference.
Absolutely. Guys, based on the simple fact of what you were just saying, Wendy, in terms of how they complement each other, and both Steph and Jimmy scoring 35-plus last night, I'll come to you on this, Mad Dog. Do you think this Warriors team can get to the Western Conference Final?
No, I do not. They're older. They're a two-pronged offensive team. I think they got the right matchup. Now, Houston's going to hear this, that the whole world thinks Golden State's going to win. I didn't look at the odds yet, but I bet if I'll have one of our guys do it.
Warriors are a minus 200 favorite.
Golden State is minus 200?
Yeah.
Wow, they're a huge favorite. Oh, my goodness. They were 200?
Yeah.
That's 2-1.
Yeah.
So if you put $100 on Golden State to beat Houston and you don't get it, you're going to lose $200. That is a huge favorite for a team that is a 7th seed without home court. And I think they'll beat Houston, but if you don't think Houston's going to pay attention to that, he's going to put that on the board. Hey, guys, they think so little of us. We're a 2-1 underdog in this series. That's going to play into this a little bit. And I think Golden State will get by this series, but I think it's going to be long. And I think eventually, Stevie, Winnie, they're going to get a little worn out. You know, got a bad thumb. He's 33, 34 years of age. Butler's no spring chicken. They're going to get worn out as this series and this postseason moves along. I think they'll beat the Rockets. Probably take 7 games. But I think at the end of the day, not enough firepower in my eyes, from what I've seen, to go out there and expect them to win, to get to a final in the West, 8 games.
Wendy, real quick, to piggyback on your point, it's the second time in 30 years that a 7 seed is favored over a 2.